actually thought it was a pretty good crowd considering it's a Tuesday. Some of the schools are out this week because of Easter break, so a lot of families have gone away. Some schools, because if you're a private school or a Catholic school, it's like a Holy Week, right? So kids are still in school for another day or two, right? So you have half of people taking off and going away because they want to search and find some sun on Easter break. Maybe they're going up to the snow. But on a Tuesday night where it was 45 degrees, and when I mean frozen, it was frozen. I've played many of games at Crocker Park, which is in the Excelsior, where it has been a swirly, windy, cold mess. I've played many games at Jackson Park as an adult in softball, which is, I don't know, maybe quarter mile, half a mile away from AT&T Park, depending on, a bicycle or what you're doing. And it's never been that cold. My toes were frozen last night, and I was in club level, and the one thing I noticed in that the TV doesn't pick up, because I'm guilty of this. I'm like, wow, there's not a lot of people there. Like, it's easy to say that.
Right.
So many people were sitting behind the glass last night because it was a frozen night. Then when you go into club level,
that's where the wind is blocked, right?
Absolutely.
Where you're not getting the wind chill.
It's warm as heck, and then all the food and the drink concessions are over there. It was packed to the gills in the concession area in club level. So now I'm not saying there were 30,000 people in the concession area. I'm just saying I am guilty of thinking that the attendance is worse than it is because I underestimate on a cold Tuesday night how many people are actually going to get concessions, doing the walk. And there were tons of people in the bleachers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that shows on television.
Well, if you didn't go to the game, you missed out on a hell of a lot. And I'm going to the Xfinity mobile text line here at 888-957-9570. I'm going to EJ from Brentwood because Lubman played the Jock Peterson home run because there's an unwritten rules discussion to get into, Shaksy. The unwritten rules came into play for the Giants. I don't know how many times that came into play last year. Didn't feel like a hell of a lot. But EJ from Brentwood, it's Captain Crunch time, baby.
It's kind of the same pitch.
Belt hits a high drive into left center field. On the move is a left fielder, and it is out of here. On a cold night, Belt goes the opposite way, and the Giants lead 2-0.
That's a Captain Crunch to start the game.
Look at you.
Oh, I was so stoked when that happened.
So before we even get to that,
You don't even want to.
no, because I want to get into Belt. I do. I want to get into the Captain Crunch stuff. I thought it was great. Saw Dave Fleming, gave him a head nod.
Nice.
We did not reference Captain Crunch.
Oh, a shame.
He told me, bundle up. It's going to be a cold night. I'm like, I'm well aware, Dave. I'm freezing already, and the game hasn't even started. The orange helmets. Very divisive.
Yeah.
The City Connect jerseys. They were unbelievably successful in the City Connects.
Also divisive.
Well, here's the issue that I got with the City Connect jerseys.
Yes.
Number one, the orange is a shade of orange that they've never utilized, right? It's more of a Tennessee Volunteer orange. It's like not neon. Neon wouldn't be the appropriate shade, but it's certainly not their normal orange color.
I'd say Vols is the right comparison there.
Yeah, okay.
Tennessee Volunteers.
Yeah, okay.
Go,
And then
go Vols, Shaksy.
right, and like Texas has a different orange color. It's like a burnt orange, the University of Texas.
Right.
And so there are varying shades of orange. So that's one level. I don't like that it's like a different shade of orange than their normal orange. Also, it just felt like to me the G logo, the G specific logo is like the weakest of all their logos. It looks like a Gatorade logo.
It looks like a 6.
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that. The other part of this, and my dad referenced this on the jerseys, the fog. I get they wanted to do the fog, and I think it's a cute idea. But when you're at the game, you can't read the numbers. Like, part of why they put the names on the backs was so that people could identify all of the different players, and I totally get that. And some people are outraged by it. I'm okay with it, like, whatever. But, like, you cannot see the numbers on the field when you're at the game. Can you on TV?
No. See, that's what I was going back and forth on with those jerseys, because the first game, and I believe they're officially 9-1 when wearing the creamsicle jerseys.
Yeah.
So shout out to the City Connects. But the first game that they were released and they went on sale, people had them, and I went down to that game. I think it was a night game.
There's tons of jerseys at the Giants team store. All the white ones
when they debuted them. And I remember thinking at first, just looking at it on a computer screen and just analyzing it, trying to make my judgments. I wasn't a big fan, but then I saw people wearing them, and I was like, wow, that looks clean when someone's wearing them to a game.
Well, especially when you're wearing all white shoes, because the Giants' normal jersey's an off-white, right? So it's a cream. And then when you see that one, my personal favorite jerseys for the Giants, like some of mine, I like the 70s and I like the 80s. I like the G in cursive, like the crazy one that they wear on Friday nights, but they had a pullover that was dope. It was a black and an orange one. The one that you see like William McCovey in.
Right.
And then I like the 1980s, more rounded numbered look with the all white.
All white,
right? If you're going to go creams, go with the block letter. If you're going to go all white, cocaine white, off whatever you want to call it, then you want to go with the 1980.
All right, Pusha T.
The Giants era. I call it the Attitude era, the Hum Baby era Giant jerseys. I just don't like the G, but they've grown on me. I will freely admit it. My dad made a point last night that was very interesting. Are they trying to say that, like, the numbers and everything, the G is the Golden Gate Bridge and the fog is at the bottom? Anybody that knows fog knows that the fog is usually at the top. So having the thing kind of fog out at the bottom actually doesn't really make practical sense. It should be at the top. Do you get where I'm going with this?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, because I don't know if I articulated it properly.
It's not condensation. It'll be fog. I don't know. Fog. It's above you. I get where you're going with this.
Yeah.
The way that I looked at it was the person who was creating the logo started spray painting it orange and then just fell asleep. Then he woke up and said, "You know what? That looks sick."
Yeah, exactly. Well, and like people are here saying, like on 650, it's a construction orange color. And Drake, you're 100% correct from the Mountain View.
Right.
They've grown on me. I still don't love them. But last night, when they finally wore, and I realized last night, like when they wore the orange helmets, the first guy steps to the plate, it's Mike Yastrzemski, and I go to myself, dude, part of why it looked so bad last year was the guys were wearing black shoes and they were wearing the black helmets when they were batting.
Yeah.
And when I saw the orange helmet, if you're going to go crazy, go all the way crazy. I loved the orange helmets with that uniform. Now, I understand some people out there are going to hate it, but the little white streaks in it, super cool. All the other Giants uniforms are kind of old school throwback, not a lot of accents, not a lot of craziness to them. Totally get it. If you're going to go off the map, I'm okay with it. When I saw it with the orange helmet, I said to myself, I'm actually really feeling the orange helmet. So I want to hear from people today, either in or out on the orange helmets, if you give us a call, because I do want to talk about Cobb. I want to talk about Dubon. We definitely want to get into Alyssa Nacken. There's a lot to get into. But, Steven, the helmets did it for me last night. I actually liked them with the white streaks in them.
Yeah, I was a big fan, and I couldn't help but laugh, though, when I looked at them, and I was like, how did they not think of this last year when they made the City Connectors?
Right?
Because they're, everyone's like, okay, we got the jersey, we got the undershirts, we got the socks.
Yeah.
All right, cool. We got the wristbands, everything to connect. Oh man, we forgot the helmets.
How?
Oh boy.
And it's like a phone call away. Like you could go online and you could order from any company that will do high school helmets, and you could have got these helmets delivered last year.
Yeah. And the matte orange.
Yeah, it looks sweet.
With the white outline.
With the white, it looked really cool.
And the Giants logo on the front. I was a big fan of it.
It looked like a high school or college team, which I was kind of feeling. Like, and again, if you're going to go crazy off the map, then go all the way. I kind of was here for it.
And they go insane in the first inning. I already played the Captain Crunch, just in case you're tuning in 6:15. Already played the Captain Crunch from Brandon Belt, so no need to even tell me about the Captain Crunch. Believe me, I was texting everybody I know it was a Captain Crunch.
That was a bomb.
I'm trying to get this thing to stick. I'm milking the Captain Crunch, if you will. But
almond milking or 2% milking or non-fat milking?
Only the almond milk if I'm making overnight oats or something like that.
Overnight oats.
Yeah.
That's what I just ordered from Mattson as this entire show was starting and we weren't prepared.
Big overnight oats guy over here.
Hey, man, have you ever had overnight oats? Give it a shot.
I'm not surprised that Lubman, who is maybe more white than John Curley was, is an overnight oats guy.
Man, give it a shot. I'm telling you.
Look at that look behind
you can put anything in it, anything you want in the overnight oats.
So first inning, they come out and bat around.
Yes,
it was like a 40-minute inning. Maybe it was longer. Maybe it was a little less. To me, it felt like a forever inning. I can't remember the last time I went to a game and the Giants batted around. That was like a little league inning. It was great.
Yeah,
just what the doctor ordered.
You Darvish. By the time that Tyro Estrada came up, and you could tell that he was shook. When Tyro Estrada came up and he was on first, he already got on with the base hit. You had a couple of walks to Crawford and Ruff. You obviously had the Belt home run. Jock Peterson, unfortunately, struck out looking, so that was the out there. But Tyro Estrada got on base, and then he steals second because Darvish isn't even looking at him. When a veteran pitcher like you, Darvish, someone who is as good as he is, because I watched him in his first start.
I like Darvish.
And I was like, damn, a 97-mile-an-hour fastball painting the black, like, damn. And he's
with
also
downward movement.
And he's also got movement on a lot of his pitches. But you got under his skin. He was shook at that point. He wasn't even paying attention at first base.
That Estrada jump on that particular play, he was halfway to second before he had even started to lift up the leg.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of crazy how much he forgot about him. That, to me, goes back to the coaching staff identifying something specific in how he sets up, and then they exploited it immediately.
Yes. And then Joey Bart, again.
Hey, Bart looks legit, dude.
When he worked that count.
He looks legit.
When he worked that count to 3-2, because it was, what was it, 1-0 when Tyro Estrada made the steal, and then Joey Bart ended up taking the strike, and then it got to a 3-2 count. Man, he was just waiting for that pitch, waiting for that A swing.
And then it feels like he's done a much better job this time up than in 2020 on a lot of things, but fighting off pitches that are actually good pitches, but you just had a better piece of hitting because you have strong forearms and you're out there and you're getting the bat head out in front. And I love his at-bats right now.
No chasing.
No, he
chasing.
looks very balanced, doesn't he?
He does. The other guy who also looked good in this game, Mike Yastrzemski, with a nice little 2-for-5 game. He needed that.
He needed it big time. He absolutely needed that big time. Him getting on base early, again, leadoff gets on, Bell hits a jack. Sign me up. You're not going to do that every single day. But the point being is, you need those top of the order guys to set the table. And last night, seeing everybody kind of contribute. And Jock, I thought, had a couple of really nice at bats, hit the ball hard, didn't get a lot to show for it. And then Darren Ruff just gives you a pro's at-bat. His numbers don't indicate how good his at-bats have been.
Yeah, I mean, he was 0 for 2 yesterday, but he had 2 walks. And he ran in twice, got 2 runs.
And he hits the ball hard.
Yes.
Every time he hits it, he squares it up. He doesn't get cheated.
Yes, and it was that finding that A swing. That's the thing I'm going to be a broken record about, because Dave Fleming, when he was joining us weekly, said that was the main objective. Whenever we're asking, what's with this offensive output that the Giants are bringing out here? And he's saying, you know what? It's instilling that A swing mentality where you're not going to swing at bad pitches if you can't get off a good swing, if you can't get off your A swing. But the lineup was fantastic. 15 hits in total, 13 runs. They ended up having to bring in Will Myers as the position.
I like Will Myers.
Oh, yeah.
And the fact that he was willing to go out there and be a sacrificial lamb, I don't know, man. I'm a big Will Myers fan, and I know he's probably batting like 100 right now because he's not doing well. But he just seems to, him, Cronenworth, and Profar own the Giants. If I was putting together the all-Giant killer team, you have both Hairstons are on there, right?
Will Myers is the number one that I always think of.
Right?
Anytime we talk about
and he
Giant
steals
killers.
a bag every game that he gets on base.
And Max Muncy's also that guy.
Max Muncy's absolutely first ballot.
We put Max Muncy there last year when he
Kevin Brown would be on this list from going back in the day.
Wow, Kevin Brown.
There's just certain guys. I think Jansen's on there. So one of the things that I think we're going to be talking a lot about is just like the lineup and what they did yesterday in terms of the bats. I want to get to Alex Cobb in the next couple of minutes.
That's what I wanted to get to right
Alex
now.
Cobb, to me, it might not have been the headliner, but that, to me, is the most important thing coming out of last night's game, that he looked good. But before I get to that, I did want to see Elliot Ramos get in there a little earlier. Crawford had like a jammed wrist or something. He came out of the game. Dubon gets in. We're going to get to Dubon. And then I'm a little worried there because Crawford has not looked good defensively at shortstop. If he's injured, that's a big problem. He's going to miss today's game. They're going to rest him for sure.
That's a problem.
The wrist injury for your everyday shortstop, that's not good. That is not good. A guy I gave a 2-year extension to, somebody who I thought would be kind of the linchpin of the everyday lineup. I'm monitoring this. I'm not freaking out, but I'm absolutely monitoring this.
When we're already talking about defense on the left side of the field with third base and what's been going on there without Evan Longoria, I mean, you're missing Brandon Crawford.
Yes.
It's going to be scary whenever a right-hander pulls the ball or a left-hander slaps the ball into left field. Like it's not going to be good if he's missing the next few games, at least defensively. But they're going to monitor it. There's a reason that they took him out early, and they did when they already had a 9-run lead at that point.
But that's okay. So the 9-run lead, right? And trust me, things happened with 9-run leads. Elliot Ramos should have been subbed into that game.
Yeah.
Like, why is the 22-year-old up? I'm not outraged. I'm just saying, like, you bring a kid up All right. And you tell me that he's a little good at everything. And I know that the whole philosophy of the organization is platoons and we're going to find the right matchups and whatever. In a game like last night, do you really need to see Mike? I mean, I know Mike's been struggling, but do you really need to see Jock and Duggar out there? Move this thing around, slide Yastrzemski over to center, put Ramos out in right field, or put Ramos in left field and move Jock over. Like, I want to see the kid get these valuable at-bats. In a game that's a blowout, why not?
Yes.
What is holding you back? And again, I'm not outraged. I'm just questioning, like, don't we want to see the kid? Don't we want to give him opportunities to survive and stride? Well, those kind of games like last night, and I'm sure he'll be in the lineup today because Manaea's a lefty, and they're going to probably have the all-righty lineup in there.
He better be in the lineup today because
right?
that was the one reason they said he's not going to be in the lineup. Oh, well, he's going to face lefties, but he's not going to face righties.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see him get in there, and like in a blowout game, that's an opportunity for me to dump my bench, especially when I have a bunch of vets.
But Alex Cobb, let's get to Alex Cobb, starting pitcher, new Giant. He is the fifth guy in your rotation. He had 5 innings pitched, gave up 4 hits, struck out 10, gave up the 2 earned runs. But Alex Cobb I saw during spring training, he upped his velocity.
So you were at a game that he was at?
No.
Okay.
No, I just saw the reports that, he was, originally throwing 93 miles an hour, 92, 93, and then he upped it to 96. Then I saw it in person, or not in person, but on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm watching the movement. I'm like, this guy's throwing a 96 mile an hour sinker.
Yeah, he's really nice. I didn't realize how big he was. When you see him on the mound, he has a presence. Matt Cain is an easy one for people to say to throw out because he had the broad shoulders. But his nickname is the Swan, Alex Cobb. I did a little research on him back in the day, and he does not look like a swan. A swan is skinny. That dude is thick. He's a big boy, and he has a presence on the mound. He throws strikes, and that's the one thing I really like about him. He sat for 40 minutes, came back, he gave up a run or whatever, but he was just peppering the strike zone. In a game where you're up big, I don't want to see you dance around people. Attack. If they get hits, so be it. And I just love the way he's sitting 95 with the sinker. Then he comes in with the 89 mile an hour splitter, and then he's got an 84 mile an hour curveball. Now, I don't know how sustainable this is. Because velocity upticking 3, 4, 5 miles per hour this late in your career, I don't know. I don't know where that is. But I'll tell you this right now. If you give me a version of the guy I saw last night, the Giants will have a top 5 rotation.
But we also saw a version of him that had a 6-run lead and something to work with eventually.
Absolutely.
Now, the top of the inning, he looked fantastic. Don't get me wrong. The top of the first, he looked fantastic against the Padres.
He had guys off balance.
Yeah, he did, for sure. But he also had a big lead. I want to see what he looks like with a 1-run lead, just like these other pitchers. But with Alex Cobb, though, I mean, you start out with Logan Webb, who's just a do-it-all pitcher.
Yes.
You're going to see him tonight. When you got Carlos Rodon, who's a hard-throwing lefty, and then you come in with Anthony DeSclafani, then you got Alex Wood, or is the other way around?
Well, DeSclafani has the 3, but they might tinker that. Who knows? They might split that up.
Right, but it's a righty, lefty, righty, lefty, righty, who all do different things.
Agreed.
Like, you're getting something different every single game, and that's what I was hoping this rotation would be, and now that I've seen them go through it once, I'm feeling real good about it.
Well, and just from a divisional standpoint, and we're going to get into this, Padres-Giants, it's becoming an underrated rivalry.
And there were reasons for it, and we'll talk about those reasons last night because Steven Duggar did something in the second inning when they were up 10-1. Dubon did something in the 6th inning that brought up the whole unwritten rules conversation. That's going to lead us to Gabe's world and what Gabe Kapler had to say about the situation. That's all coming up next. Today, also, your chance to qualify to win some tickets to Game 1 for the Warriors playoffs, okay? You're going to want to listen within this hour because you saw what we were doing yesterday. You got to get to Twitch. You got to get to YouTube. That's how you're going to qualify for the tickets for Game 1.
You just have to create a login, subscribe to 95.7 The Game, get in the chat. It's not hard. And it really isn't.
It's fun.
It is. And you get to see what I look like.
There you go.
I'm pretty ugly.
There you go. You got the good sweater on, though.
Oh, dude, I'm so ready. I'm actually going to buy a new Giants coat today. I saw one yesterday that I like, and I think I'm going to swoop that up today.
Of course, if you want to phone in, you already know what we're going to talk about. The Xfinity mobile text line, 888-957-9570. That's also the phone number. Stephen Langford in, Bonte Hill, going to be back on Friday. It's the Morning Roast on 95.7 The Game.